obviously in everyone's career, there's setbacks, there's failures, there's things like that. And I'm sure throughout your career, you've probably dealt with setback, failure, just like everyone else. You know, the biggest one I can think of maybe is when there was that misunderstanding with the UFC, and you had the most powerful man in your sport almost against you, and you still managed to, you know, come out as what I consider to be the best journalist in the sport. And so, what is your process for dealing with setback and failure?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't almost against me. He was against me. He still is against me, but that's okay. I've had a lot of setbacks, a lot of failures, like we all have. And my main thing is don't feel sorry for yourself. Like I've always, thank God, I don't know what it is that allowed me to do this, but I've always believed that every time a door closes, a window opens. And you can either sit back and lick your wounds, feel bad for yourself, or you can say, you know what? Screw that. F that. I'm going to go out and prove people wrong. The greatest example that I can give you of that was when Showtime hired me to be a part of the Maymac World Tour. And so I flew from New York to Los Angeles on a red eye on a Monday night after doing my MMA hour. I land at like 1 a.m. LA time. I go to bed. I wake up. This is a big deal, right? This is Mayweather McGregor. This is Showtime. I'm working with like Mauro Ranallo and all these people. It was a really big freaking deal for me. And I remember my suit is on. I'm ready to go the first stop, Staples Center on that Tuesday. And I remember Steven Espinoza, the president of Showtime Sports, still the president, gives me a call and says, "Hey, before you go to the arena, could you meet me in the lobby of the JW Marriott, which is right across the street?" Seemed a little weird to me, but of course I said yes. Met him in the lobby, and he breaks the news to me that I can't be a part of it anymore. That Dana White freaked out when he heard that I was a part of it, and he's incredibly sorry. But they have to remove me. Uh, you know, Very nice of him. He paid me for doing nothing, and I felt like crap. I wanted to cry. I think I actually did cry. I was very sad, and I was sad for like I don't know 30 minutes, and then I said, "F this. I'm going to cover what could be the biggest fight of my life." There was so much buzz, better than everyone. I'm going to cover it better than Showtime. I'm going to cover it better than ESPN. I'm going to cover it better than any outlet on the planet. And I'm going to take this personally. And I think I did. I think I covered it better than anyone. I got sit downs with Connor. I got to sit down with Floyd 2 days before the fight at his gentleman's club. I waited there for 6 hours. We had live shows from Radio Row. We had huge guests. We covered that fight better than anyone. And there's no one that can even come close to that statement. And so that's an example of you want to deal me a shit sandwich. I'm going to come back and do something even greater. And I actually feel like being removed from that was an amazing thing that happened to me because um, the stuff that I did with MMA fighting for that fight exponentially better than the stuff I would have done for Showtime. Another example, just quickly, is like my stint at ESPN, 3 years, and they tried to get me out. And I did get an offer from ESPN. It wasn't the offer that I obviously wanted, and I think it's because ESPN basically they chose the UFC over me, and that's fine. And UFC and one man in particular tried to hurt me, right? I got a text an hour after I announced that I was leaving ESPN saying like, "Told you we would get you out of ESPN, bye-bye," from an anonymous person. I know who that's from, and I don't mind because now my life is exponentially better. I'm happier. I'm making more money. I'm doing better stuff. I couldn't even like compare the way I felt February 25th of 2021 to now. It's completely so every time, thank God, I get screwed over, better things happen. And I don't know if that run is going to end at some point. I hope it doesn't, but I'm very thankful that it plays out that way. And I think part of the reason why is I don't feel sorry. I don't cry. I don't lick my wounds. I just say, all right, what's next?
Wow. And yeah, you said there you've got the most powerful man in the sport against you, still against you, and you still, you still do what you do. Do you put that down to just resilience? Like, is that something you pride yourself on, having that resilience to just not take that as a be all and end all and just stick with it and do your own thing?
Absolutely, man. I came way too far to let one guy dictate how my life is going to go. I came way too far to let one guy write my story. My family, and I get like emotional about this because my family was living in Lebanon in the 70s and they were kicked out of Lebanon because they were Jewish. They've been through way worse than that I will ever be going through or that I'm going through at any point with, the UFC or whatever. And so I owe it to them. I owe it to my family. I owe it to my parents who believed in me. I owe it to the fans. I'm not going to give up. And it's cool. Like we can, I've always believed that we can live in the same orbit, meaning the sport of MMA, and never interact with each other. My life is totally fine without any interaction. I don't want interaction. I'm not reaching out asking for a peace treaty or interviews or anything like that. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer if they don't mess with my livelihood. That's, a bit of a low blow, but again, everything works out for a reason. So yeah, I just feel like I'm not, what am I going to do? Roll over? And just allow them to it's funny because like people would be like, oh, you're weak, you're this or that, you cry. Like, yo, I want to see the vast majority of you guys take the punches that I've taken and see if you're still standing. So I'm just not gonna I'll decide when it's over. I'll decide when I'm done. I'm not gonna let anyone else decide that.